Captains, here it is, the grand finale, the Mac Daddy of them all, the Minotaur, the second video and the last in the series to feature the Smoke DPM build. And although all good things must come to an end, let's go out with a bang, shall we? So let's take a look at the build itself. We'll compare it to the Agile Radar build from the previous video, and we'll look at a side-by-side comparison in the stats to see what is actually benefited and what we lose. So let's take a look at our commander, which shouldn't be all too unfamiliar at this point. It is Bruce Fraser yet again at the helm behind the Minotaur, and he is going to be taking this thing out and doing some damage with the DPM that we have in this build. It is extremely good, but all around it's the same as we've used up to this point. The Minotaur itself has almost all the same stuff from the Agile video, except for the concealment mod that is in the third slot. You do lose out on one extra consumable, so we only get 2 repair parties as opposed to the 3, so that's a little bit of a downgrade, but they are good heals. Same with the sonar. It's the same detection with ships and duration. You just get 2 instead of 3. And lastly, which is what makes this build the unique, is the smoke generator, which is what I would say 90 to 95% of the Minotaurs that I come across play this way, with a long duration smoke, giving them concealment and spamming from range. The survivability stays the same. It is 43,300 with a 21% torpedo damage reduction. Looking at the guns themselves, we have the same 152s. However, the reload has gotten a little bit faster at 2.5 as opposed to basically 3 seconds. 180-degree turn time is ridiculous, and the AP shell damage is 3520 per shell. And you got 10 of them, so that's a lot. Torpedoes is essentially the exact same. You have 11 kilometers versus the 10, so not a whole lot of a difference here. You just get 1 kilometer extra range, but they're still fantastic torpedoes. AA defense also has not changed. We didn't spec into it with the other build, and we don't do it here because you don't need to. The AA is amazing, and we do face a carrier in this one as well. On to the maneuverability, and this is always the point where you see the biggest disparity between the maximum speed and the rudder shift time, whereas with Hot Rod you had 37.5. Here it's reduced by 2 knots, same turning circle radius, and the rudder shift for Fraser is worse at 8.3 as opposed to 2.8. Going on to the last stat, concealment. We get better concealment with this, and boy do you need it, because getting hit is not bueno in this ship. However, the only thing that you lose out on detectability is your range by air. 6.6 with Fraser, where Hot Rod's unique ability makes it go down to 6.2, and both have a 5.8 detection from smoke. You must keep that in mind as well, because you're going to be utilizing smoke with this build. Here are the stats. You can pause the screen and take a look at everything. So, yeah, there you go. Moving on to the armor. Again, it is wrapped in 16 millimeters of armor. It can be overmatched by all battleship caliber shells at this tier and even at tier 8, so don't count on your armor keeping you safe. The only thing that it can bounce is 203's AP only, if properly angled. Your citadel is, again, raised above the waterline quite significantly from the front turret all the way to the rear turret, and it encompasses over half of your ship, so you have to hide, and you have to maintain being behind islands and utilizing smoke when you have it. We are on the map Haven, and again, we are not alone. I like to have division mates with me, especially a destroyer. Speaking of which, the USS Rooster, who is our div mate, is in the Daring, and our Des Moines also has radar, and he is with us as well. We are going to nestle up to this island that is right off our bow, and we are just gonna drop anchor and kind of park it for a little bit, because at the very beginning of the match you want to see what your team is going to do. And although this is a domination game mode, unlike with the Radar Agile build, you are not equipped to go in and try to take caps and spot destroyers. That's not your role. you have to maintain the concealment behind islands, and when you don't have islands, using your smoke screen. Be careful though, because with this particular type of build, if a battleship is worth his salt, he will spot you even if you are hidden in your smoke, and he will take shots at you and can potentially Citadel and Dev Strike you even if you're not spotted, because the Minotaur, with its constant barrage of firepower, kind of keeps throwing up flares, if you will, letting the team know, and the enemy team specifically, where you are and where to shoot you. And the more you shoot, the better their chances of hitting you. So you always have to keep that in mind. Here the Hayate comes up to pester our daring, and so we're going to back out and try to get some shots on him. Right now, there's really nothing we can do until we can clear this island. We're going to drop some torps just in case we need him and he disappears. But as we're about to shoot, our daring's torpedoes take him out, which is perfect. I did smoke up because I didn't want to be seen by the Hayate. There, the torpedoes narrowly miss our daring, and from what our div mate said, it was awfully close. I'll just have to take his word for it, but he did dodge those, so he lives to fight some more. The last destroyer is on the far left side, not really contesting any caps, not being a big issue. And here I want you to notice something. The Montana, who is heavily armored, is 15 clicks away, and look at this hit. We get a Citadel from 15 kilometers away. I don't know if that was a glitch or if that was a fluke. Had to have been. I don't think I have ever done that. And there he takes a nasty hit. Had to have been from a Yamato, and that was a much more devastating Citadel. But to get a Citadel from that range on a battleship that's that heavily armored was hilarious. I just thought that was kind of funny. I had to do a double take. I was like, wait a minute, I got a Citadel? Anyway, back to the gameplay. The Shimakaze is finally spotted, and while he's lit up, I am taking advantage and shooting. I'm assuming it's from the radar from our Des Moines, and we are going to chime in and try to take out this guy as much as we possibly can. It could also be the plane, so I didn't think of that. So either case, he's lit up. We are doing everything we can to try and shoot him, but we're not doing very well. And here our div mate hits and Dev strikes him with a torpedo again. So our div mate doing a really good job. Took out both the destroyers, playing the role really well. Of course, the daring is just an incredible destroyer. And so again, we haven't really moved, but we have all these targets to shoot at. We're from relative safety. I know it's not the most exciting gameplay, but that's kind of what you have to do when you're in the Minotaur. And I sadly see 90 to even probably a greater percentage of players that play the Minotaur this way. I think it's a little on the stale side. It's not as exciting for me. Yes, you can get some good damage. Right now, we're only sitting at 46,000. So I'm talking to my destroyer, and I'm like, okay, Charlie still hasn't been capped. And looking at the map of all the remaining ships that are on the enemy team, with them being 6, 5 of them are either spotted or the last knowns. They don't put it close to Charlie cap. There we see one spotted, and it is the Yamato. So the remaining 6 ship that I didn't account for happens to be the Yamato. Not ideal, and can definitely wipe us off the board. Here we are trying to get around this island, and he takes a shot at us, and it's AP, and this could absolutely wreck us. And he gets nothing but overpins. That could have been so much more devastating than it was. So we dodged a bullet on that one. Thankfully, sometimes your light armor also helps in creating overpins. So he just missed my Citadel, which is pretty crazy. I usually get hit in the Citadel when I'm that flat broadside against a Yamato. But I'll take it. I'm thankful. Get to live another day. So moving back, the Alaska and the Yamato are on Charlie. So we do need to take it because they are now currently on it. Here I'm just kind of going around the outside, and I've got my smoke back now, and I'm trying to think to myself, how can I best be used to take this cap? Our daring has done a really good job of taking out the destroyers, so I need to support him and help repay him by what he has contributed already. And our carrier over here is going to be pestering these two, but their combined AA is going to make kind of short work of the planes. Here we're just going to throw some torpedoes because you just never know. And unfortunately, the first div mate goes down. It was the Des Moines, so he is now out of this battle. We are going to mop up this kill. Bit of a yoink, but kill secured nonetheless, showcasing that Will to Rebuild is definitely dead. Alaska is pushing in and takes out our destroyer. I'm guessing he used the... Well, I want to say he used the radar, but I'm within it, so couldn't have been that. So both of our division mates are down, and the ship count is not quite tied. We do have a significant points lead. So we're going to make our way over to Charlie because the Alaska has decided to move off of it. And while we're heading that way, we're going to take shots at this reversing Yamato, who is flat broadside to us. Even though we can't see over the island, our auto aim does a really good job of maintaining these shells. And even at this range, these shell hits, once they start connecting, you're going to see the Yamato's health just start to disappear. And that's the beauty of these short fuse AP rounds. They're once you start connecting with them, they're really, really devastating. And they're not like HE, in that HE you can heal most, if not all of it back. AP though, full penetration damage, you cannot heal 100% of that back, which even makes the shell hits from a Minotaur even that much more devastating because it's less that you can heal back. So now we're starting to really connect with these shells, and you can just kind of see that it's a death by 1,000 cuts, and we knock them out. So now we're back. Now we're up to 2 kills, and there's 3 ships left. And no, I'm not thinking Kraken, but we could possibly get one. I don't know. We're here on Charlie. We are securing it. Don't need the smoke screen. The carrier, oddly enough, is not coming over here, so we can cap this from relative safety. I don't want to shoot yet, even though the Temeraire is kind of within my range, although he's right on the edge of it. I don't want to expose myself until I know for a fact that I have this cap. Now the ship count is 4-3, and this is like crazy how it's gotten this close as far as ship count goes. We were ahead by a decent amount, and now it's kind of come back. The last remaining ships are all going to be clumped together over here, kind of in this corner. I don't know that to start, but that's essentially what's going on. But we do have 3 of the 4 caps. There is no reason to believe that unless we make a boneheaded play, that we will absolutely lose this. Although stranger things have happened, and I am very, very capable of being dev struck, so I have to be careful. All these ships are outside of my detection ring, so there is no harm at this point in moving into Alpha. I do have to keep an eye on the planes, though. If I do get spotted, I do have my smoke. Here, I guess I was just okay with opening up. Don't exactly remember why I did that before I got into the cap. I think I am the one that is spotting these ships right now. So if I smoke up here and they disappear, then that is definitely the case, which obviously is not ideal. The Temeraire comes back up, and now we're going to chime in on him because he's relatively low. Now we're stopping because our plan is to pop smoke, which we do. We're still spotted, and look at, God, the AP damage is just so good. And that's the one benefit with these shells. There, the carrier gets spotted, and the carrier's going to start to move out, and he's going to turn broadside as well. So we're just getting we're getting ships that are cooperating with us. And although I'm not too familiar with the deck armor of the Japanese carrier, you can see that I'm still able to get full penetrations on this guy. And we're going to secure this cap as well. And are we able to take out this carrier? We do! Oh my gosh. So, whereas we only had 2 ships killed and a couple of them were yanks, and I'm not going to lie, this has been a little bit of a yank fest, but we're securing these kills, and now I have 4 kills, and I'm like, why not the Kraken to end this whole thing? That would be so funny and hilarious. And here I'm trying to figure out exactly where he's at, because he's on the edge, so his speed kind of changes. And I'm trying to chime in, and I'm trying to get these guns to connect, and I'm not as successful. I'm so close. Come on, guys. Come on, let's get this Kraken. But, no. Oh, well. It was fun, though. It was fun. This has been a great series, and I saved the best XP for last. A little bit better than the game I had in the Agile version by just less than 100 XP, but still over a 3,300 base XP game, which was really awesome. So that's going to do it for me, Captains, with this series. It's been fun. It's been real. Sometimes it hasn't been real fun, but overall, I'd say I had a really great time. This was a challenge, especially the Neptune. I'd say that was the most difficult one of all of these ships to really get. The Minotaur, it can be a really, really fun boat. And I hope you guys enjoyed the series, like I said. Let me know down below in the comments what series you'd like to see me take on next. If it's a destroyer line, another cruiser line, even a battleship line. Although I'm not the greatest with that, I will definitely feature something if you guys want to see something. So let me know. And I will catch you guys in the next video series. This has been the USS Endeavor, signing off.